Alrighty then. Number 25. A repair company's charge for repairing a certain type of copy machine fits the model y equals 47.38 plus 0.617x, where y is the amount charged in dollars and x is the number of minutes the repair person is on the job. How many minutes would it take for the cost of repair to reach $120? Round to the nearest minute. Alright, well let's write this, make this thing big. We got y equals 4738 plus 0.617x. Alright, that's better. I like the looks of that. Alright, so the repair companies charge for repairing a type of copy machine fits the model y equals blah blah blah. So what is y? Where y is the amount charged in dollars. So we got to know what these things equal so we can figure things out. Okay, and then x, choose a different color. X is the number of minutes the repair person is on the job. Okay, so minutes, total dollars for the job. Total dollars for the job. Okay, so you're thinking, well, what the heck is this 4738? Well, that's money too, right? Because you add these two things up, and you're going to get dollars over here, right? So this must be, I don't know, must be what they charge to drive there, right? And this is what he makes per minute. That's what he makes per minute right there, because this is where we put the minutes in that X. Okay, so now we're going to go down. Okay, how many minutes would it take for the cost of repair to reach $120? Alright, so if the total cost is $120, we put that in for the y, because that's what our y is. It's the amount charged in dollars, right? Okay, so that's going to equal 47.38 plus 0.617x. Okay, now you look at it and say, oh God, I can't do that. Well, yes you can. This is actually a simple problem, but if you look at it with simple numbers, let's say that this was 6, and that was 3, and this was 2x. Well, then you can figure it out. You've done these before. So all this is just bigger numbers with decimals in it. So it's not the end of the world. You can do this. You just use the same method, right? We're going to get the x term on one side and the numbers on the other. Since we have the x term on the right side and there's already a number on the left, let's move this, let's subtract this 4738 out. So we're going to have 120 minus 4738. Try to keep my equal signs under each other, but it didn't work this time. Okay, 4738 minus 4738 plus 0.617x. Okay, so that turns to 0. So over on this side we have 0.617x, and I just can't stand these zeros, so I'm just going to erase it. It doesn't do anything anyway. Alright, so, and then I'm going to subtract or add these two numbers together, 120 plus a negative 4738. Okay, so I got $72.62, well, $72.62. Alright, so I want to get my x alone. I just do the same thing we've been doing. Even though it's a weird decimal, we're going to use it. Divide by that. Divide by the same thing. Or you can think of it as multiplying it by the reciprocal of 0.617, which would be 1 over 0.617. And we'll do the same thing to both sides, of course. Always do the same thing to both sides. Don't use some kind of special trick you think you remember from high school. Okay, so these two cancel out, and we get x equals, we get 117.69855413. And what is this? X. X equals. X is minutes, so it's that many minutes. Now if we go back up and look at the problem, you always want to go back and look at the problem and make sure you do what it says to do. See, so how many minutes, so we found that out, how many minutes would it take for the cost of the repair to reach 120, and then it says round to the nearest minute. So this is 5 or greater, so we'll round it to 118 minutes. Number 26. Okay, translate the sentence to an equation using the variable x, then solve the equation. Okay, so in this kind of when there's when it's an equation, we first want to look at where is the equal sign in this sentence. So figure that out now. Turn it off and figure it out. Where is the equal sign? When 4 times a number is subtracted from 7 times the number, the result is 21. The result is, that's our equal sign. So let's put an equal sign over there. And the result is 21. So let's put 21. All right, we got 1/2 of the equation down already. Okay, so now it says when 4 times the number is subtracted from 7 times the number. So now which number is going to go first, the 4 or the 7? 7 times the number. So well, let's write what these things are. Okay, we got 4 times the number, 4x. We've got 7 times the number, 7x. But it says when 4 times the number is subtracted from 7 times the number. So if you were going to subtract something from something else, you would put that something else first. Let's do that. Seven times the number minus 4 times the number. That equals 21. Okay, so now we have our sentence, and we can solve it. 7x minus 4x, and these are usually very easy to solve, right? This becomes 3x equals 21. Divide by 3, and we get x equals 7. Okay, and then we could stick it back in the equation and see, and we'll see we get 21. And look at it, see if it makes sense. When 4 times the number is subtracted from 7 times the number, the result is 21. That's good. If it was the other way, we get a negative number, it wouldn't work. Okay. Now you say, oh no, not another word problem. Yes, I'm afraid that they're just a fact of life. Okay, find the number or numbers. The sum of 2 consecutive numbers is negative 363. Find the larger integer. Okay, and so now they're talking about integers because there's some negative numbers involved here. So, to find a consecutive numbers are numbers right after each other. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are all consecutive. Or 34, 35, 36, 37. All consecutive numbers. Or you could also do negative 45, negative 44, negative 43, negative 42. See, we wouldn't do it the other way. We go from the lowest to the highest as we're counting, right? So the sum of 2 consecutive numbers, what would that be? Well, we'll call our first number n. So if we're going 3, 4, 5, what would the next number be? Well, it would be n plus 1. So there's n, and then there's n plus 1. And n plus 1 would be bigger, right? So we have the first number, n, added to the second one, n plus 1. Maybe I'll just put that in parentheses. Okay, first number, second. Smaller, bigger. Right? Even if it's negative, it's smaller, bigger. And the sum of those two equals a negative 363. Okay, so this is actually, once we have the formula, you see, this is actually not a hard problem, it just sounds hard. Once you have the formula, this is simple, because n plus 1 is 2n plus 1 equaling a negative 363. Okay, we'll subtract 1 from both sides. 2n plus 1 minus 1 equals negative 363 minus 1. So we get 2n equals a negative 364. Now we divide 364 by 2. And we divide both sides by 2. And we get n equaling a negative 182. Okay, so n equals 182. So that would be this guy, right? 182. And n plus 1, whoopsie, negative 182, let's say. Okay, n plus 1 would be a negative 182 plus 1, right? And that would be a negative, that would equal a negative 181. So this is the larger number, right? Negative 181. And let's see if we're right. We'll check out, so we have a negative 182 and a negative 181. Add them together. 3. Yep, negative 363. See, so it works. There's, of course, you could make a different formula. You could do n and n minus 1, but you'd be talking about two different numbers. You'd be talking n would be your larger number, then an n minus 1 would be your smaller number, and adding them together would equal negative 363. It would still work out, and you would still get the same answers. Except, your n and your n plus 1 are different. They would be different. Okay. You have to go ahead and try it and see. Another one. Mary and her brother John collect foreign coins. Mary has 4 times the number of coins that John has. Together they have 225 foreign coins. Find how many coins Mary has. Uh-oh, I can't do this. Well, yes you can. So, who has more coins? Mary and her brother John collect 4 coins. Mary has 4 times the number. Okay, Mary has more coins. So we can pick Mary as X, but it'd be easier to pick John as X. So let's say John boy, he equals X. Okay, so then Mary equals what? Mary has 4 times the number of coins that John has, so she would have 4X. That's how I recommend you do these. Figure out which one's bigger than the other, and then make one of them X. I would make the smaller one X, see, because then the larger one is plus something. But you can do it the other way. Sometimes it'll be Mary and her brother have Chihuahuas, and Mary has Mary has 5 less than John. So then John would be X minus 5, right? No, Mary would be X. Mary could be X minus 5 and John could be X. I don't know if I just confused you or not. Well, let's go back to this one. So Mary and her brother John collect foreign coins. Mary has 4 times the number of coins that John has, so she has more. So if John had X, Mary would have 4X. Okay, together they have 225 foreign coins. So we can make an equation now. We have X plus 4X, John plus Mary, equals 225. Okay, simple problem again, simple one to solve. So we have 5X equals 225. Divide both sides by 5, and you get X equals 45. Okay, but who's X? John is X. John has 45. So how many does Mary have? Because remember, we have to go back to the problem and see what they're asking for. They're not asking for John's, they're asking for how many Mary has. So we've got 45 times 4. 180. Mary has 180 coins. And just to make sure that we've got this right, we're going to have to add their coins together. Well, we don't have to, but it's not a bad idea. 225. Okay, so good. That's the answer. So the answer is 180, and it's correct. Number 29. This is about a basketball game. See, so you get excited about doing this one. during a basketball game, Team A scored 18 fewer points than Team B. Together, both teams scored a total of 148 points. How many points did Team A score during the game? Okay, just like the last problem, well, this one's, there's a difference in the subtraction here, or addition, as opposed to multiplication. Again, let's figure out who scored more points. Team A scored 18 fewer points than Team B. Okay, 18 fewer points than Team B. Let's make Team B, let's just use a B rather than write out team. Okay, Team B, Team A scored 18 fewer points than Team B. So Team B has more points. So I'm going to make them X, and Team A is 18 fewer, so that would be X minus 18. See, so that's the hard part really. Got to reason that out. Which one has more points? How do you represent one and the other? I mean, you could do the team that had the fewer points as X, and the other one is X plus 18. You see? So whatever way makes the most sense to you, you want to see it that way. Okay, so together they scored 148 points. You can see how this is the same kind of problem as the last one. So we've got X plus X minus 18, and they total out to 148. Alright, so we solve this. 2x minus 18 equals 148. Add 18 to both sides. 2x minus 18 plus 18 equals 148 plus 18. So 2x equals, you have to add this up, 166, and then divide both by 2, cancels, we get x equals 83. Okay, so now we're going to see if we're right. That one's 83. This is how many points did Team A score, see? So we've got Team B's, we've got to find out Team A's. Team A is 83 minus 18. $65. So they got 65 points. So A, 65. And then we can add them together. And we'll just go back and say, well, A scored 18 fewer points. So, okay, we're good. If we add 18 to 65, we'll find we have 83. That's what B scored. If we add both scores together, we can just double check and make sure we get the same total points they had. That's 148. So, correct. Okay. Now this one gives us equations, and they have two variables in them, and it says solve for y. What the heck do they want me to do now? Right, well, solving for y is you want to just have it y equals. And you just mess around with the equation until you get y equals the rest of it. That's all it amounts to. You can't, but when you do mess around with it, I guess I shouldn't say mess, you follow the rules. You know, you do the same thing to both sides. So you just figure out, well, what's the same thing I can do to both sides to get the right answer? Let's start out with negative 4x plus y equals 11. Okay, I want to isolate the y. I want it in terms of this y. So I'm going to get rid of that negative 4x. And the only correct way to do that is to add 4x, add the opposite. So I've got negative 4x plus 4x plus y equals 11 plus 4x. Okay, positive 4x and then plus a negative 4x is 0. So I've got y equals 11 plus 4x. That's the answer. That wasn't so hard, really, was it? Let's do this one. 7x plus 9y equals 59. Again, same thing. we want to get this, well, we want to get this term alone, first of all, then we'll deal with the 9, right? Okay, so we have 7x minus 7x plus 9y equals 59, doing the same thing to both sides, minus 7x. Alright, so now we have 9y, because 7x minus 7x is 0, 9y equals 59 minus 7x. Okay, so now how do we get the y alone? Well, look at it. You divide by 9, right? Divide by 9, and then we have to divide this side by 9. So we could leave it like that, but later on you're going to see when we get into the next chapter that we're going to want to divide each of those things individually. So anyway, these cancel out. We get y. This 9, by the way, divides into both of those, not just one. Divides into both. It's just like distribution in a way. So we'll go 9 into 59. We'll just leave it in algebra. We usually just leave improper fractions where they are. So 59 ninths minus 7 ninths x. Just like we multiply numbers by numbers, we divide numbers by numbers. So we just turn that into a fraction, negative 7 ninths x. That's the answer for that one. Let's do the same thing with this one. We want to get it in terms of y again. So we'll get rid of that x term by subtracting it. We have 8x minus 8x plus 5y equals 41 minus 8x. That goes away, and we have 5y equals 41 minus 8x. Divide by 5. Cancels, and so we have y equals, and I'm going to divide each of these into now, 41 fifths, and just leave it like that, and this is going to be negative 8 fifths x, and that's the answer. Number 33, solve the formula for the specified variable. These are just like the ones before. I looked these two equations up to see what the heck they were, and I found that the first one is the volume of a cone or a pyramid, and the other one is the surface area of a cylinder, like a soda can. So anyway, not that that matters at all as far as doing these problems. Again, all we're doing is isolating the one we're looking for. So we're going to get it in terms of, like a b for number 33 is going to be b equals a bunch of stuff. And we're just, if we just do it the same way I've been talking about all along, as the same thing to both sides, we constantly do the same thing to both sides, we'll come out with the right answer. So let's start with the first one. We've got v equals 1/3 bh. And by the way, what is the b? The base times the height. 1/3 the base times the height. Okay. And the area of the base times the height. Anyway, we're not worrying about that. Okay, so we're just worrying about getting that b alone. So how can we get the b alone? Well, one thing I can see is we want to multiply and get rid of that 1/3. To do that, we have to multiply it by its reciprocal, which is 3. So we'll multiply this one by 3 and this by 3. Okay, so now we've got 3v equals, and this one we'll put over 3. We could do it over on the side, 1/3 times 3 over 1. See, we multiply the numbers times the numbers, letters times the letters, so to speak. And we get 3 over 3 equals 1, or if we cross cancel, 3 into 3 is 1, 3 into 3 is 1, we get 1. Okay, so now we just have BH. Okay, so now we need to eliminate that H, and the way to do that properly is to divide by H. Both sides, of course, that cancels. So we get B equals 3V over H. Okay, let's do the next one. This one we want to do it for h. Okay, so you have to look for our h. There's our h. You think, oh no, I can't do that, because if I start dividing, then I don't know. Why don't we do what we always do? We start with subtracting or adding first. So let's get that 2 pi r squared out of the way first. So we'll subtract s minus 2 pi r squared equals 2 pi rh plus 2 pi r squared minus 2 pi r squared. Okay, that plus its opposite equals 0. So we have s equals 2 pi r squared equals 2 pi rh. Okay, so now we've got the h and we've got it multiplied by a 2, a pi, and an r. We can divide by 2 pi r. It's all basically one number, right? 2 times pi times r. We could divide by, or we could do it one at a time. We could divide by 2 and then divide by pi. Divide both sides by 2, divide both sides by pi, divide both sides by r. Okay? But I'm going to try to do it all at once. Okay? So we've got, I'm going to divide it by 2 pi r. And I'll divide this side by 2 pi r. Now, here this is all the same, so we can just cancel all those out, and we get an h. Right? Just h. On this side, well, we could cancel a couple things out on the right of that 2 pi r squared, but we can't do that with the s, so it's going to be ugly. But we could. All right, so here's our choice. We could just leave it the way it is. So this is a good enough answer. If I get that answer, I'll be happy. I'll say it's right, 100% right. Or we could do this. We could divide the 2 pi r into both of them. We'll divide it into that one and into that one. 2 pi r into s is s divided by 2 pi r. And that's minus 2 pi r into 2 pi r squared. So in that case, the 2, the pi, and one of the r's cancel out. So we're going to get, on the right side, we're going to just get r. See, look, those cancel, and one of the r's, this is r times r, so one of those goes, so it would be r. But I don't want to put you through that yet. We'll be doing enough of that in the last chapter. Okay? So, the first answer I got would be quite satisfactory. S minus 2 pi r squared over 2 pi r. That would be quite satisfactory, and so good job. Well, I just found out the square roots were going to be on this test too, so thought I'd better review that concept. I thought we were done. Well, this is the last one, I promise. Okay, so let's say we have number 2, and we were going to square the number 2. That would be 4. We can make a picture of it. See? 2 by 2, and you get 4 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's literally 2 squared. And there we have 4 squared, right? 4 by 4, and you count them up, you'll see that there's 16 boxes there. So 4 squared equals 16. Okay, so what is the square root? The square root of 16 is 4. So the square root of 16 is that number times itself that'll equal 16. So it's 4. It's not 4 times 4, it's 4. It's because 4 times 4 equals 16. The square root of 16 is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 9 is 3. Square root of 64 is 8. the square root of 69, well, you'd have to figure that out. Okay, like, let's say, well, is it 10? No, 10 times 10 is 100, so it's got to be bigger than that. How about 11? 11 times 11 is 121, right? And then it's not 12. 12 times 12, well, what's that? That's 144. So we have to keep going. How about 13 times 13? 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. 13, 9, 6, 1. 169. It's 13. Another way to know is, well, it wasn't 200. You know, 15 times 15 is 225. Let's see. 20 times 20 is 400, so it can't be that big. You know, so you can kind of get an idea. But you're not going to have any like that anyway. So there you have it. Congratulations. You did it.